What it do? Welcome to another one for Al Cuerpo Boxing, to the body. So let's get with it. Let's talk some boxing. So there's some interesting revelations in the last 24 hours regarding this rumor that Terrence Crawford has some sort of injury, or more so, an injury, a condition, right? Let's just call it a condition. I don't want to use the word injury, but a condition um, that might affect his athleticism or performance in this fight, right? Or as others have said, flaring up. And I guess I'll just say that the original source of this rumor had said that Terrence Crawford had, well, it was regarding his shoulder, right? And if I'm not mistaken, and forgive me if I'm not accurate, but supposedly Terrence Crawford had some sort of procedures done on his shoulder, right, earlier this year. And I mean, at Crawford's age, I mean, and boxers in general, injuries occur all the time. It's nothing new. Injuries occur all the time. Um, but the interesting or dark revelations from this rumor are rather interesting, man, because it depends on what angle you want to gear to, right? So, for example, and and usually in these type of rumors, you got to kind of go with uh, intelligent researching, right, or clever researching. For example, one channel you should check out. It's a friend of mine or an acquaintance that I usually do live streams with on a channel called Rapstar Boxing Knowledge. But this guy, he has about 100K subs. His name is Punch Drunk Boxing, right? Go ahead and check out his channel. I recently subbed myself. It's a good channel. He's a cool guy. He's a Latino squad, right? Latino squad. And but anyways, his angle regarding the shoulder injury or rumor is very interesting because he goes more into the SNAC world and I guess the low key protocols or situations when you do therapeutic exemption forms, right? For, let's say, whatever type of injury. Pretty much, you're given a green light to use certain medications that would, otherwise be on the ban list, on the WADA ban list. So that's Punch Drunk's suspense outlook, right? Go ahead and check out his channel, and you can get an idea from what he's getting at. In my opinion, it's good entertainment, right? Other angles, if you go from like the Gareth Davis channel, Gareth Davies, if I'm pronouncing it correctly, he had spoken about it too. I believe he had shut down the rumors, and he says what I say or what others would say. Injuries happen in boxing, so it's nothing new. But I think, in his point of view, he kind of like shut down the rumor for the greater good of boxing, right? Um, and I agree with that stance. Then there's other channels that you also have to wonder why they're spreading those type of rumors, right? Because believe me, there's a lot of channels that are anti Crawford, right, or pro Crawford. Um, for example, let's say if you're worried for Terrence Crawford to lose this fight, yeah, maybe you want to throw out a rumor like that, right? I don't know, either to save face or I guess to conserve the brand of Terrence Crawford by saying, oh, well, it was because of an injury that Terrence Crawford could have won this fight, right? So that's one angle. Another angle could be, let's say, the Crawford haters, right? From whatever ulterior motives they have, they could be looking at it like, well, how does it feel now that Crawford has an injury? And let's say it was the same situation that Errol Spence had, right? Errol Spence obviously had a very dramatic and life changing injuries. And so they're trying to connect the dots with that, you know? Or a different angle would be like, look what Terrence Crawford is doing. Terrence Crawford is not disclosing an injury, and therefore he's doing a disservice to the gambling world, right? It's kind of like the Mayweather Pacquiao situation where, you know, I remember reports back then that a lot of gamblers were trying to sue or they were upset because these so and so fighters weren't disclosing injuries, right? And hey man, kudos to them for sharing that emotion. Of course, yo, man, that's why I say don't bet, save your money. Um, So, anyways, you see the circumstances, the different angles, the different ulterior motives that fans want to present these type of rumors, right? But check it out, guys. I got a different and fresh angle for you guys. And for those of you that know me, damn, that coffee's good. For those of you that know me, I've had this opinion about the current situation for a long time. Even like criticism towards the SNAC program. All right. And it's funny because when I mention the SNAC program as of late, it doesn't mean, I swear to you, it does not mean I'm being synonymous to PEDs. Not at all. I'm not even insinuating PED use. All right. For those of you that are saying, "Nah, what are you trying to do? You're trying to low key insinuate PEDs." No, I'm not, because I'll say it myself, and I've always said it. Everybody's on some sort of gear. All right. So, for example, if I want to be pro Canelo's world, that they're innocent, I mean, that's funny in itself. But right. But let's say, and you guys know me, I like making fun of the tacos, right? So let's say Clen and Snack, nobody's innocent. They balance each other out, and it cancels each other out, right? We can do that angle. As a matter of fact, we'll do that angle. Okay. When I mean Snack, I'm being very serious here, okay, guys? Let's pretend banned substances don't exist, and we're not thinking of banned substances. We're literally talking about natural substances, right? Old school, that will help you out in training. But more specifically, I want to talk about strength and conditioning. I'm going to repeat it 2 more times, okay? A guy that's going up in weight, a guy that has to recalibrate his power against a guy at 168 that has phenomenal power. Again, I'm going to repeat it again. Strength and conditioning. I'm going to say it 1 more time. Strength and conditioning. So, guys, when I say SNAC, I'm literally talking about that in this camp. In this camp. All right? And I'm thinking, guys, that these rumors that are floating out, in my theory, have to do with SNAC. But what do I mean by that? I'm thinking that Terrence Crawford, and you guys heard me. I know a lot of fans that follow me and they said, "Yo, Cuerpo, I agree with you about the overtraining." We've heard SNAC fighters say that they overtrained. If anything, if anything from the SNAC world of fighters that have had testimony about injuries, it would have to be this one. It would have to be this fight. Again, a guy that's moving up in 2 weight classes, regardless if he's as big as Canelo now, but it's to get to that point now. What did Crawford have to do to get to this point? In my opinion, excessive strength and conditioning, and you guys heard me before, that will do a disservice to Terrence Crawford in this fight. So what do I mean by that? By the way, you guys know I'm a Crawford fan. Style-wise, I'm a Crawford fan. I'm a Canelo fan too, but I'm more of a southpaw switch shooter myself. All right? But what we do know about Terrence Crawford's, I guess, cliche marketing points, right? Cliche marketing points from the Terrence Crawford world is that Terrence Crawford is superhuman strength, which I believe is exaggerated, right? I kid you not, guys. In the world of athletics, worldwide, in gyms, yeah, sure, people are on gear, whatever. But there are a lot of people that are, let's say, 5'6", 5'7", that weigh, and we're talking about like teenagers, youngies, that are from 150 pounds to 170, they're deadlifting 450 pounds and up. Let me repeat that. Guys, girls, I've seen girls shorter and probably don't weigh as much as Crawford. I've seen videos online, you can find them, of youngies, all right? We're talking like late teens, maybe early 20s, of youngies deadlifting more than 450 pounds. So what does that say about Crawford? It says, okay, that's cool. Crawford is in the same average boat as them, right? So there's nothing special in that aspect. Some of you might say, "Oh no, well, Cuerpo, we don't really got to talk about more about the weights, it's about the gym lifting, but more so the strength, the core strength in wrestling, right?" Crawford's wrestling background. Okay, that's cool. Yeah, I know a lot of BJJ cats in the world in real life. They're strong as hell too, but it doesn't so much translate well when it comes to combat fighting. Unless, of course, you're strictly MMA. Yeah, there are benefits, of course, right? Because there's grappling and there's a lot of jiu-jitsu, Brazilian jiu-jitsu in the MMA world. So we get that. We get that. But let's not detract here. Terrence Crawford. Let's say Terrence Crawford in the last 4 or 5 months or a whole year. Let's say in Terrence Crawford's mind, he's like, you know what? It's easy work. I can do 450. No problem. As a matter of fact, guys, as a matter of fact, you guys will love me on this. I've seen a video, or I've seen maybe a couple videos. No, there's one video where Terrence Crawford, he's doing a deadlift, a squat, right? With his legs. And he said, you know what? That's easy work or light work. And let's assume that was 400 plus pounds, okay? So that's Terrence Crawford's mindset. So Terrence Crawford's mindset, he's about to get paid a bag of 50 million plus, right? Badass money. Shout out to Crawford for taking that, for making a big mega event for Turkey and for Canelo Alvarez, right? So that's the motivation, the bag, the bag. But there's maybe some consequence to that, you know? Too much motivation. Too much motivation. And what do we get? Unfortunate overtraining for this camp. So again, what does that mean? Terrence Crawford's like, damn, you know what? This week or these past months, I'm about 50 pounds heavier. Let me start doing 500 pounds. Let me start doing maybe 550. Who knows? Maybe even 600, but that's pushing. That's risky. But let's say Terrence Crawford went out of his comfort zone of doing the 450 or 400 plus deadlifts that he's shown us on videos, all right? Because of course, guys, this year he's going up to 168. He's got a lot to prove. Let me repeat that. Let me repeat that. Terrence Crawford has a lot to prove in this fight against Canelo Alvarez because he's going up 2 weight classes. And I don't want to say unfortunately, but I'm trying to bring that suspense for you guys. And he's with the SNAC program. So the SNAC program, their website, this all-American website, their role, their job is to get you to that threshold, to get you to the best performance, the best strength and conditioning, and the best nutritional supplements to get you to that all-American high level, that Olympic level. Okay? And I'm not trolling here. I'm not insinuating banned substances. Don't get me wrong. I want to go to the core of this. Because why? Because I want to talk about injuries. Again, overtraining. Is it possible that in some type of specific technique or workout that Crawford might have injured a muscle, a pre-existing injury to that area that it has affected him in camp? And again, unfortunately, the SNAC world is not disclosing that. Why? Because there's mega millions involved. You don't want to really affect the Riyadh season workflow, right? What Riyadh season has done for us, making big events. And again, it would be disastrous. You guys know me. I've done many videos. I use the word disastrous. It would be disastrous if this fight was canceled. You know, that's why even in sparring, I always say Lester Martinez or Steve Nelson, heck, even Canelo's world, they have to be extra cautious because they've been building this fight for more than a year. They have to be extra cautious, and it would be disastrous if something happened that affected the date of this fight. Why? Because, again, Mexican Independence Day, it's a very important date for Canelo Alvarez, right? Should Terrence Crawford disclose an injury, or if Terrence Crawford would be out of the loop in this fight, it's possible that Terrence Crawford wouldn't even get a second chance ever again for a Canelo fight, right? So think about that, guys. Perhaps Terrence Crawford, maybe there's an insider in Terrence Crawford's camp that they're trying to do a service. Let me repeat that. The affiliation camp with Terrence Crawford, maybe they're trying to do a service to the gambling world. Right? I mean, morale, ethics, don't you want to kind of hook up the people to maybe insinuate, like, okay, we can't fully disclose these things, but let us at least throw out a rumor. Let's be in good grace to disclose a rumor that quite possibly be more realistic than not, right? So that's my stance. And for those of you that know me, I've been saying it for the longest. I've been on live streams. I've been saying that overtraining with SNAC, my opinion, my theory, I think that it's going to do Terence Crawford wrong in this fight. For example, if we do see a Jermell Charlo performance, or if we see a performance by Crawford that's even worse than Charlo, let's say doing a lot of errors, all right, errors. You see athleticism that looks awkward. You see Crawford switching too much from orthodox to southpaw. You have to wonder, what were the reasons for that? Obviously, Crawford's uncomfortable, but what is the root source? Is it possible that injury is just too much to bear? Right? It's too much to bear. Why? Overtraining. In my theory, somehow the calibration to get this natural 154 pounder within 1 year to fight Canelo Alvarez at 168. Because guys, you have to complement your competition, right? Or counteract your opposition. What I mean by that is Canelo Alvarez is a hard puncher at 168 and above. So that's what you're going against. So with athletic theory, you have to match that. You have to match it. So how do we boost Terence Crawford's core strength? All right? How do you boost Terence Crawford's core strength? It might be that Terence Crawford might low-key lie and say, you know what? No, I can do this 550 lift. Don't worry about it. I can do it. Trust me. Boom. He does it. He does it. And then an hour later or the following day, Terence is like, damn, he don't feel right. He don't feel right. The injury flared up because of that. It's possible, guys. You know what? I might as well jump off to what Punch was saying about non-disclosure theory, right? Therapeutic exempt forms. As a matter of fact, let me give a shout out to my boy Boxeo Atomico. Because Boxeo Atomico, by the way, he's mostly a Spanish-driven channel. He's kept it 100 from the get-go. He kept it 100. He and others were stating Conte's testimony about using legal uses of testosterone, right? Methods that could be interpreted as therapeutic use exempts, right? But why though? Why? It could be to cover up an injury, right? Or to help an injury. If we want to be proactive and we want to be more productive, if we want to be as fans, boxing fans, and even industry professionals, right? All that combination, professionals, industry fans, if we want to be productive to assure the fans that this fight must go, it must happen, well then maybe we shouldn't make a big deal about it and therefore we don't need disclosure, right? It's better to have non-disclosure. And these things happen in boxing, guys. These things happen. All right? So what am I getting at? Well, from one angle, for those of you that like to gamble, straight up, for those of you that like to gamble, be aware of this theory. Be aware of this theory. As a matter of fact, you can use the Mayweather Pacquiao experience. Use those circumstances. I won't go into that, but you guys can research yourself. All right? For example, Pacquiao needing to use for Toradol because of an injury, and Floyd said, nah. And then at the same time, well, I don't want to go into that stuff. It's old news. But again, guys, these things happen, right? As I always say, you guys know me. I like to use the phrase, the show must go on. The show must go on. So let me go back and revise that. Shout out to SNAC And again, guys, when I mean snack, sometimes give me, at least, give me benefit of doubt that I'm not talking about banned substances. Straight up, 100%. I'm not talking about banned substances. I'm talking about strength and conditioning, context world of hookups, right? Excessive use in core strength, where you're trying to calibrate a guy going up in weight to rival Canelo Alvarez's power. All right? Again, guys, deadlifts. Yo, you guys know deadlifts. Yeah, shoulder core strength, back strength, right? Spinal conservation, leg strength. Deadlifts are in a way very dangerous if you don't have experience doing it, especially when you're deadlifting serious weight. Serious weight from disc hernias, traditional hernias, strains that don't heal, right? And you're still going hardcore in camp. You guys like that? You see, I'm always consistent about what fighters say before. It is possible that Caleb Plant, when he said that he overtrained for Vincent Feigenboots, it's possible that he overtrained in the SNAC regimen, right? They went overboard, and then Plant's like, damn, you know what? I really do need a rest. I can't fight Canelo next. I need a rest because of the overtraining with SNAC. Again, guys, I'm not even talking about or entertaining the idea of banned substances. Or, to make matters worse, guys, forget it. I was going to say, I can't say the F word here, but forget it. Let's entertain the idea that there are banned substances being used in the SNAC program with the strength and conditioning. As a matter of fact, that would make it even worse. It would make the situation worse at the molecular level. At the molecular level, everybody is different. Everybody's chemistry, everybody's genetic. Age plays a big factor. Age plays a big factor. So think about it. As much as a badass as Conte is, he's also gambling on the limits of Crawford's physique. Only Crawford could disclose or let us know. When I mean let us, meaning his camp and the SNAC program, he has to tell them if something is wrong. He has to tell them if something is wrong, right? And again, a lot of these things probably won't be disclosed. As a matter of fact, again, guys, Terence Crawford's camp was shut down in the last month and the past 45 days, right? Completely shut. You know, who knows? It might be that what we're seeing Crawford in the ring, if something doesn't look right, right? Be it the speed, the movement. Hey guys, that could be interpreted as low key. There's an injury involved that we don't know, and a disservice to the gamblers. Because again, morale, ethics. You don't want to have people lose their money, man. Not like that. So, again, who knows what was the motive, the reason for that, for those rumors to be leaked, right? Who's it benefiting? Those that are ready for an excuse? Uh, is it benefiting gamblers that are being more careful and responsible, knowing realistic circumstances, right? Didn't Turkey Al-Sheikh disclose that Crawford was healing or was going through some sort of injury? We know that Turkey had disclosed an injury. But again, guys, that's nothing new because injuries happen all the time in boxing, in all sports. Jeez, it happens all the time. And again, guys, I always keep it 100 with consistency. And fans hate it. They hate it when I say, hey man, and Crawford's going for the bag. He told Turkey he wants more fights. More fights mean bigger bags. So if you've got an injury, of course you're not gonna disclose that. Why would you jeopardize a major payday? You guys think about that. Why would you jeopardize it? And of course, you don't want to disclose that because then that would affect future fights. Right? Future fights. So what's the best scenario, guys? What's the best scenario? Yo, round 6, round 7. Yo, round 6, round 7, we're going to do this. And you guys know me. What do I say? You know, for me, I don't find it like super crazy if Bomac throws a towel in the 7th or the 8th by design. I've been saying that for months. By design. What do I mean by design? Everything I've been saying the last 25 minutes on live streams, I say by design. You guys get it. I'm giving you context, realism, circumstances, hence by design, guys. So, let's wrap this up about the rumors for the injury. Do I believe it? Highly plausible, of course. Of course, man. Overtraining with SNAC, deadlifts, uh, or again, if we want to entertain the cryptic world of it, or as a matter of fact, no, I'll keep it positive and pure. Let's not entertain any situation of banned substances. We'll keep it very basic and to the bone and rudimentary. That the old school method, it's possible that they overdid it with Terrence Crawford for Canelo Alvarez because unfortunately there was a big bag in play, right? Right? Again, remember this whole fight, this whole mega event is benefiting also the SNAC program. It brings more athletes to want to go to SNAC, right? It means Bud Crawford, with the next fights he's going to do, most likely will still be with SNAC. So you see the benefits of this, and I guess maybe even the consequences of it. But that's what I got, guys. I'm going to say that, let me make a theory here. I guess I don't need to use the word injury because I've you guys that know me, I've said this a while. Again, overtraining will have its side effects for Terrence Bud Crawford to fight Canelo Alvarez. All right. So, in my belief, 1 year time, it did Terrence Bud Crawford a disservice. That's what I got for this one, guys. For Al Cuerpo Boxing to the body, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.